Okay, at this time, I will open up to our Town of Grottoes Town Council retreat. Call it to order for Thursday, February 12th, 2026. Melissa, please call roll.
Here.
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 Thank you, ma'am. Thank you guys for meeting again so we could look at each other twice this week. But as we move along, we'll try to make this pretty productive as we can. We've got some things to cover, some exciting topics as well. But I'm gonna turn this over to Kyle for the beginning of our agenda, and we'll go from there.
All right, sounds good, Mayor. I've got the agenda up on our screen, so just to let you know we're recording, so it'll be online.
It's not up there.
Oh. I'll put it on here while we're talking. So anyway, the couple things we'll just hit on to start off. I think the mayor and I are going to tag team this. The first thing, just as on our agenda, is the vision statement, which hasn't changed. Just there for a reminder. Not going to read it. If anybody has any questions, it's there. So it's important. Sometimes vision and mission get lost. So it's there, or there for everybody to take a look at. And just as a reminder. Moving through, which the mayor will discuss, is discussion is historical preservation discussion, which is agenda item number 2.
Okay. All right, guys. So I don't know if you all know who Jeannie Kirby is, but she's a member of our fire department, and she's been the head of getting the fire department's history collected and getting a museum set for them, and she really spearheaded that. I've had, I think 4 meetings with Jeannie and some other citizens here in the town, and unbeknownst to me, back in 2005, and then maybe you all might have some insight to this too, they actually established a historical preservation advisory committee in 2005, and that was under Mayor Shiflett. And so they're wanting to regroup. Of course, there's going to be a new board. But some of the things that we've discussed is, of course, get the board established, then get council's blessing. But they need a location. They've got some challenges with location and also collection of historical findings and artifacts, because where are you going to store that kind of thing? We've talked about even this being a possibility, but it's really not, in the sense of how we use this building, because a lot of these things, they're historical and they're going to need protection, not in a community room where people might bounce balls or have a birthday party or something like that. So I just wanted to bring it to your attention, get some opinions on it, get us thinking about, where is our piece in this? And then I also she kept good records, and so now we have the records again, where the meeting was done on October 17th of 2005, and then what the scope of their committee was about. And I can email all these things to you. It isn't something that we have to read tonight, but it was formulated by our attorney, what their committee, how their committee was established. So just wanted to bring it to your attention to let y'all know that, hey, they're going to come and talk to us. And they're going to probably make some requests, but they're also going to request that we give them their blessing, and also we'll have to appoint their board once they formulate what that board is. But I know you all have a love for our town, or you wouldn't be representing it. So I'm just putting it out here. If there's anything that you all want to add to it, or suggestions, or get your wheels turning, what our role would be with them, and maybe some things that we might be able to help facilitate. And of course, I'm open to all things, because I think that, we've done a lot in the last several years here. We've got a before, a then and now going on, and as great as our resources are for new media and our photography and everything. We're not even really collecting all of our current data and storing it for years to come of the progress that we've made. So that would be my excitement too, is not only doing the historical event that's happened over 100 and some years ago, but the historical preservation of what we're doing now as we're moving forward. So that's what all that's about. And I will email this to you so you guys do know that's what they're doing. But they had some cool articles that they had shared. They even made the paper. So I have that. And then we have some history of losing policemen. They had that. And it seems like kind of the same story of what we deal with in competition of pay rates and things like that and how we're competitive in the field. So pretty cool stuff. And there are a lot of people that are interested in this here in town. And I've heard some wind blowing our way on that. And there's potential places too. So anyway, that's what that's about. I don't know if you guys want to comment on it, but you're welcome to.
My only question is, how does the history of Grand Caverns play into that, right? Because there's a lot of history of Grand Caverns even before it became part of the town officially. So I don't know if whatever this activity or project is would be inclusive of the history of Grand Caverns, which is kind of beyond town ownership. Does that make sense?
Well, okay.
But it is an activity, yeah. Yeah, no. So I think Austin, you guys have like a policy of.
We do. We literally just met with Jeannie last week and stuff.
Oh.
Yeah, she's very much in our neighborhood and we've been getting her help on some stuff because she's a great asset.
Well, it's awesome because they're excited and they do have some concerns. I mean, we've got an aging community and they have a plethora of knowledge and we're going to lose that if we don't contain it. So that's that. Yeah, so I'm all for it. We just have to. I'm helping them get organized to say, you know, this is what we got to do first and move on. And so I'll just keep you guys informed of that. But any suggestions you want to throw that way, do it. Okay. Anything else? All right. We will move on to our FOIA and HOIA.
Okay, as you all know, every 2 years, elected officials need to get training in FOIA and conflict of interest. So that link up there it's really easy. It's through BML. It takes 10 minutes, and that satisfies requirement for the next 2 years. So I would encourage you all to do that as soon as you can, and you just have to fill out your information, and obviously Grottoes and BML will log it for you, so the record will be with BML. So if you could do that rather soon, that'd be great. And again, I did it a couple days ago, and it's literally, I don't even think it took 10 minutes. So anyway, just a requirement that we have to, and it's always changing with the General Assembly. There's always a couple of nuances, and BML will keep you up to date with that. So that's a good thing. So moving on to number 4, just talk about some of our projects that we've got underway right now, and a couple of moving forward. And I'm going to tie into number 5 as well with this to just give basically a little preview of the FY27 budget from the staff's perspective to where we are. Obviously, we're going to have the process really hasn't started yet for the council, wrapping up with the staff. So we should have a draft budget as recommended by us here in the next couple of weeks, and then we'll get that to you all. But again, just to remind you, if there are things, and again, we'll be able to talk about those in the budget meetings. But if there are things that come up in your committees that you think should be a priority, let us know so we can incorporate that in. But again, we've got plenty of time. I mean, we're here in the middle of February, so public hearing won't be until May, and so there's plenty of But anyway, to talk about some of the things we've got underway, some of the things you don't really see, but we've talked about, our land development regulations, we've been working on those for a while. We're getting close. Again, as I've talked about, we're looking probably late spring. That would require a joint public hearing with the planning commission. Not a big deal. We've been concurrently working through the code, which does need updated. I anticipate that will be sometime. We're not gonna throw them all on you at the same time. It'll be subsequent, consecutive meetings. So we may do one in May, June, and July, because it's a lot. We'll have all the changes highlighted. We're not substantially proposing to change quote-unquote regulations or change the world. We're just trying to bring it into compliance with, and most of it is. There's just a few things that we need to clean up a little bit, and we're working through that, and that'll be in front of you here in the next couple of months. In addition to that, we have completed the update to the personnel manual with some changes in law. That will go to you all as well with recommendations. Nothing big changes in there, just some recommendations as the laws have changed, so not a big deal. In finance as well, the town has really never had a quote-unquote finance, you have finance procedures, but as far as, X percent that has to be the reserve amount, that has to be in the bank, this, that, and the other. Very simple. Basically the best practice. It's 2 pages. It's not overcomplicated. Hopefully you all know me well enough by now that I don't like to overcomplicate things. I don't like to overstudy things. If it's right, it's right. So we're going to make sure those are right, and then those will be coming to you in the next few months. So a couple things you will see that we've talked about. To the wastewater treatment plant, the UV, we've been talking about that for a while. We're still waiting on Rob. He's been busy. He said he's going to be free within the next week or two. Get that knocked out. We've got the equipment sitting down there. It has been sitting down there for a couple of months. We'll be ready to go with that. While we're talking about wastewater plant as well, the Manger report has continued to come up, and I think I've mentioned to you all on a number of occasions that report is flawed, without a doubt. And Rob and I have talked about that. He is aware it's flawed. He's working on it. That will be revised. It's greatly flawed, in fact. So we will have, Rob is going to revise that. We'll get that back in front of you. It doesn't have to be approved. It's just one of those things. It's a matter of information. We'll all be on the same page with the wastewater treatment plant. So those 2 things are good. And once we get the UV in, as I mentioned, that gives us redundancy with the 2 trains on the UV that adds capacity to the system. Doesn't get us quite where we need to be, but the next step would be upgrading the clarifier, which is not a big deal. And you would have an 800,000 gallon a day plant, which the town would struggle to outgrow in anybody's lifetime in this room. Actually,
Josh, I have a question.
yes, sir. No cost? No cost. Oh, no, sir.
Additional for his
No,
correction.
No cost. Yeah. Right. And it's primarily the capacity. Where the issue's flawed is the capacity, the number of houses, that type of thing. I mean, we've just changed the way that plant runs, and we've got a lot of freeboard there. Yeah. It's not a charge thing. It's not a contract thing. No. Yeah. And it won't take him a lot of time to do it. He knows what he's got to do. But yeah, that won't cost the town anything. UV will. I mean, his design for the UV will, but that's a new thing. But it shouldn't be. It's not much. I mean, I don't want to call it a plug-and-play system, but it's it's close to it. I mean, we've got to do some things to expand that area just a little bit bigger, but money-wise, not much at all. I mean, the money was in the UV system that's sitting down there in the box, so the installation stuff is not a big deal. It does. So if we go, if we would go to above 800,000, and put that number in perspective, I mean, what we send to the river is not even 300,000 on a day. Sometimes without rain, right now it's probably like 250. So That's why I said at 800,000, I mean, you're not gonna hit that capacity for a long, long time. But now if you go over that, that's when, you have to open the permit back up. And so where the town is very fortunate, and Rob knows that, and Rob's really good. I mean, he's worked with a lot of very large, wastewater plants all across Virginia. That, if we were to, for right now, our phosphorus and nitrogen, which is what DEQ is after, what goes in the river, nutrients, we don't have a per daily or per weekly limit, which is unheard of. For example, in Broadway, we had a 3 and a .3, which is limited technology. I mean, you're putting in basically drinking water. You can, at the end of the thing, you can take a drink of it, and it's just as good as what's coming out the tap. I've never tested it. Don't intend to, but here, pretty much the same way. I mean, you're disinfecting it, it's getting hit by UV, there's no pathogens in it, et cetera. But once you go over that level for us, we would be into that limit of technology, and that changes everything. We would be, we're not a nutrient removal plant, so to speak. I mean, the ponds do it to a certain degree, and most of it settles at the bottom. But if we were to become a nutrient removal plant and try to meet those limits of technology, you're looking at millions of dollars. But that's down the road. That's down the road. And that's why we have to be careful when we do the upgrades that, to not ask for crazy amounts of capacity. We don't need it, number one. And number two, we don't need to, upgrade the facility when we don't need to do it. So. It's been good, yeah. And that plant, for simplistic as it is, really does a good job. Treat, if you look at our numbers that's going into the river, I mean, I was looking at DMR, I think we were like 0.17 phosphorus and a little bit higher than that nitrogen, which the river has more than that in it as it's flowing through. So it's a cool little plant. And yeah, we've been very fortunate with the sludge removal. We won't have to do that for quite some time, and there certainly wasn't as much in it as what was anticipated, so that was good. So yeah, things are good down there. Our operator is doing a good job, don't have to worry about him. We have, where there's been issues with the town in the past, we didn't have redundancy. I've got my class 3, I can run the plant. Brady is getting ready to take his class 3, so he'll have it. He's been studying since before Christmas. He's got his class 4 water, so he's our water operator. And Parker is getting ready to sit for his class 3. So if all things go well, we've got four operators on staff. So we're not going to have to hire anybody out, rely on the county, that type of thing. So, that's a good thing. And we're also, while I'm talking about that, on the water side, Clint is getting ready to sit for his class 4 water. And so we'll have 2 water operators. I'm going to go ahead and get it just for the heck of it while the wastewater is fresh in my mind. They're similar tests. And so we would have 3 there. So we've got a lot of redundancy in both water and wastewater, which is a good thing. Yeah, so that's really good. So anyway, so things are good there. I still would like to get, we talked about having everybody come down and do a tour to get a better understanding of the plant. I mean, it would probably take a half hour just to say, this is the process, this is what we've done, this is what we're doing differently, this is why it's so low, that type of thing. So, I was hoping to do it in the fall, but I wanted to have the UV in before we did that. So probably late spring, maybe even early summer, but when it's nice to get everybody out there and check it out and see what's going on. So haven't forgotten about that. So again, tying into the budget and some of the things we have underway is when we get into the budget for this year, what we're proposing is it's pretty bare bones, honestly. We're not recommending to hire any new employees, no new positions. We have a position still that we're looking to fill in police, which that's already a budget position that's out there. So got to make sure we do that right, and the chief's on top of that. But as far as any new positions, we're not recommending any. We are, the one project that I'm really excited about to, and again, this is a staff proposal, so it's up to you guys, is to finish that, the line from 3rd Street and Dogwood down to Cave Hill. And it wouldn't go all the way up to Cave, we've already got a line coming across where we can tie in and where it pushes the water up to Cave Hill, but that completes that loop from the elevated tank basically to Cave Hill. I mean, it loops now, but it's in a whole weird way. And you get 2-inch lines going through, 4-inch lines. This will be 12 and 8 that will now have the town's backbone completely solidified. And then in future years, we can start working block by block to knock out those 2-inch lines that continue to plague us. So that would be, with the 6th Street that we did this year, and this, that's the 2 biggest projects in the water distribution system that's been done a long time, and that will benefit the town for many, many years. So the cost of that, we priced that out. It's $129,000 in materials. Our goal was to do that in-house. We wouldn't bid it. We would use our own equipment. We would use our employees and do it that way. Maybe Tyler a little bit, I doubt it, but our goal was to try to do it all on our own. It's going to be a little bit of a challenge because we're going to be in 256, but we'll be off the road, but there'll be times probably have to put it down to 1 lane and have some flaggers during the day, but that's no big deal. So, but we'll talk about that in more detail as we get into the budget. And the final thing I have in here is the development of third well. I don't want to let that get away from it or forget about it, and I know you all won't. But we're looking at FY '28, which would be the year following, obviously, this upcoming budget year to get that done and get that rolling. And again, supply-wise, the town has nothing to worry about water-wise. So anyway, but we'll talk about that a little bit more. Again, though, if there are recommendations from you all, shoot me an email, shoot me a text, call me, Tara, anybody. Let us know if you all got anything in your departments that we need to work in. One of the other things we're going to be working on is a 5-year capital improvement program, a formal one. We hope to have that finished up in the summer, and I would like to have that in front of council so it's actually a formal document. It is a document that doesn't bind the town to anything. That's your budget, but the CIP is just basically a planning guide so that, something, where none of us are here in 5 years, which I don't think that'll be the case, but we have, folks who look and say, okay, this is what they're planning, why they're planning, and that type of thing, and that'll be across all departments, and that'll change. That'll change. There's some things that are gonna pop up during the middle of the year that you have to address, but we're targeting that for summer to get that in front of council. And so that, from the staff standpoint, is kind of where we are with our projects and with our where we are with the budget. So I think we're in a pretty good spot. That being said, number 6 is committees, and I know I've talked to some of the committee chairs about. I know we've got a water sewer. We're going to be scheduling a water sewer committee meeting in the coming weeks. And for those of you I've talked to, I've put some of the things that you've talked to me about, and we can start in no particular order, but special events. Is that you will take over from here, or do you have a specific order you want the committees to go in? Or?
Well, we can go on down from, you want to lead on special events? Okay.
On the special events side, in particular, we're wrapping up the event poster, right, and all of the, I got this from Crystal today, so I'm just double checking that against the known events. And also just wanting everyone to be aware that we are rebranding Hurry in the Park to be Grottoes, and we will be having fireworks. Joe's very excited about fireworks.
LSL.
LSO, then we'll be there, and then we're looking for a third band, so Tim's probably gonna help us with, some recommendations here. So the bluegrass, is not happening this year.
No.
So, we do have some extra funds, I guess, right, from what we had normally donated towards that, that we will be using towards the fireworks in addition to.
Well, we could allocate
Yes,
it.
we
It's
could
not,
allocate
it
it, yeah.
doesn't have to be done,
Yeah.
but we could if we needed
That
to.
could be an optional thing that we could allocate towards the fireworks. But as we normally do, we will, be sending out the donation letter since, Grotto Grandsa is intended to be a fundraiser for the Parks Department. And then in particular to council, why I'm raising all of these things is, the town events take a substantial amount of work, right? Not just for me personally and for Joe and for town staff, but, it's also really important that all of us are there and participating in as many of the events as possible, as members of town council. So what I was recommending and hoping is that as we look, and I can tell you which events specifically, but as we look at the events that are scheduled that are in particular run by the town versus ones that are run by other groups that we just mentioned on the town calendar, I would like at least all of us to participate or be at one of each of the events, right? I understand that people's schedules can conflict, right, and we can't all be at all the things. But if each of us as town council members can commit to participating or showing up to one of the town-run events, I think that's really important. But it also would help the staff, right, who does a lot of this stuff after hours. That would be particularly helpful. So the ones in particular that I'm referencing, is the Memorial Day ceremony, Grotto Granza, the Senior Citizen Lunch, Chief John Painter Day, which is First Responder Day, the Veterans Day, and then the Christmas Parade tree lighting event. So those are the larger events that are run by the actual town, meaning us as a group. So even though I'm chair of the committee, doesn't mean that I'm the one that has to do all of the things, right? Because I will be at all of the events, but I also need commitment from all of us on council to be there and participate in these events. I know a lot of you go to as many as you can, but I just want to call that out. If the sooner you can tell me your availability, and I can email out the finalized schedule, if you can email me back and let me know that you are committed to which event so that we can plan more effectively, that would be really helpful for me, because we do have to coordinate with the staff, and I also have to rally volunteers, right? So if we do have a lack of support or participation from being able to run the event, I have to know that in advance, because that means I have to rally more community volunteers to help run some of these events. And Chief, if you need help for Chief Charlie Fish Day, you let me know, but you usually are on that. You usually have a whole slew of people helping, so that is technically a run by us event too, but it's more Chiefs, so. That's all, unless you've got anything else you want to add to that.
Well, I did want to ask Chief to elaborate on the police week, what's you're hosting. Or is that
Yeah.
So the plan is, every year, HPD and building in Harrisonburg host the opening ceremonies for Police Week. What they're trying to do, starting last year, is rotate that through all the localities of Rockingham County. I spoke with Chief Hutchinson, Chris Watson, and a couple others, and the plan is to host that here this year. As far as the town setup, it's really not anything we've got to set up. It'll mostly be HPD, me, and the sheriff's office. Basically, the way the event goes is it's usually open with an open speaker and a prayer. is set up and a representative from that department just steps forward when they ring the bell and say their name and to watch them. I think, Joe, you went last year, and I think
Yes.
it was like, what, maybe 30 minutes to an hour, if that. It's not very long. We don't have a date for that exactly yet. I'm still waiting on Chris to get back to me on that, but other than that,
Yeah, so you'll keep us informed of that, and
Yeah.
anybody that wants to attend, but it was a very nice event, they did it in Bridgewater, last May, so, and we'll get to host it on our new
And the-
memorial.
and the reason I volunteered us to host it this year was just because we unveiled the memorial last year, so I figured it'd be a good way to draw some more attention to it.
Yeah, we've got the bell now,
Yeah.
too. We can ring the bell, yeah. Yeah, so just let me know, Chief, whenever we're finalized on the date, we
It'll
can get it
probably
added to
be,
the
I'll probably
calendar.
know more about a month out,
Okay,
just because they're transitioning to a new chief. They came from Lynchburg and Harrisonburg, so I'm sure they've got a lot of other things going on right now internally.
Thank you. I know I put you on the spot, but my wheels are turning. And I just wanted to reiterate what our Grotto grants, I mean, it is our, celebration, our Declaration of Independence, and I know that everybody's gonna be doing something on the 4th of July, but this is hometown, small America, and so I think that we should start some of these events, especially this event, if we're gonna continue it on down the road as a fundraiser for the town, is a shout out for small town America and putting money back in here. And I do, prepare a letter to send out to sponsors and donations like other people do, and proceeds will go to, our, things that we need to have, done at the parks. We've got a lot of things that we want to improve upon, and we've got some goals at both parks. And also, it puts us on the map for being able to host a nice event, and bring families and communities. And so, if you build it, they will come, and that's kind of been how I've been my whole life. So I'm really excited about, doing that and making it that theme, here on out. I think it's a good statement to make for our little small town America. And, so you guys participating in that would be great. I think it's gonna be awesome. And the fireworks, we've got one price. We're still
Yeah.
kind of negotiating a little bit, but I'm hoping we can, just solidify that this week too. And it may be the same person that did it last time, because they gave us a really, really good deal. So we'll just see, but I'll keep you all on spot for that. And as far as the bluegrass is concerned, I would love to have it. Our Friday night bluegrass was at the park. It's just a matter of organization, and maybe we can regroup with that if we get somebody that wants to do it. Caleb, has a lot of things going on. Roger Randall is, not able to really commit as well as he was, so that's really the issue there for the Friday night bluegrass. But I'd love to bring that back if that was a thing, or maybe in another format. And, we have parted, some ways with our, Wayne Prophet, who decided that he was gonna try another venue. And that's fine. I feel like if we were to bring an event like that too, we know how to better organize that and make sure that, we can host it collectively, and where we're not, hosting all of the work that it is coming back to the town. So, that's really all I've got to say as it pertains to that. I'm for it. I just want us to be reaping some benefit of that as well. So that's where I stand with that.
I did have one thing to add that I forgot to mention. The Ruritans will be hosting a Meet the Candidate Night on September 17th. So for those of you that are running this coming election, or considering rerunning, or know people who are running, that will be an event ahead of this upcoming November election cycle. I would imagine that the rest of the town council will be there as well, even if we're not running, just to speak to constituents, right, that show up for the event. But it'll be run the same way that it was run the last time the Ruritans had that event. And that is on September 17th.
Council have any questions about any of suggestions? Eddie said he was excited. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and we're gonna theme it like America, right? Like 4th of July party type of style. Yeah, it's on the 20th, so,
20th.
of June, so it's close enough. So, we're gonna red, white, and blue it to death. But I'm really excited about it.
Do we still have the push-pull parade?
Yeah.
did last year.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
We gotta,
It's on
we
the
gotta
calendar.
talk to your,
I haven't heard any difference from that.
yeah, we gotta ask Beth.
So as far as I know, it's still.
The push-pull pedal. Yeah, okay. We have it on the calendar. Yeah, we hadn't asked her, but.
If not, I'll do it.
Okay,
All right, there we go.
let's get it on. Okay, so, I'll just go down committees. I got my list here. So David, did you have anything based on finance committee?
Well, I talked to Rhonda. She has already submitted 2022, 23, 24 audits, and in a couple of months, she'll start sending them information on 2026. So we are very close.
Yeah, we'll schedule our regular one in April. Virtually.
And the second thing I asked about is the ARPA money, which is gone. There is no more.
We did a good job using that.
Hmm?
I said we did a good job using all of that.
You did.
We didn't leave any on the table,
Done.
which is great.
That's it.
Okay, sir, thank you. And under personnel and fire and police protection, like I said, we've got special events going on, we've got things we're gonna keep you up with, we're working on staffing, and of course, we'll be discussing more as we move into the budget, for where we are this year. It's not a whole lot of changes, but we do wanna stay competitive and relative, in the compensation packages, and then also with our staff getting the education, and certifications that they need. So we're setting in motion. Kyle's doing a great job on that, making sure everybody's getting what they need there. And I'm just gonna reiterate too, as far as the council is concerned and planning commissioners and things like that, we too have resources where we can better educate ourselves. VML conference is one. There's other courses that are available to us in different places that we can go, but it's good to mingle. It's good to go see what other localities are dealing with, and a lot of times we're talking the same thing, concerns and upgrades, infrastructure, and it's just knowledge, and then how they also combat it and deal with it. So I encourage you guys, and as we try to recruit more people to be involved on our planning commission and so forth, the better educated that they are about planning our future in this town, the better off we're all gonna be. So that's the biggest thing that I wanna emphasize there. I think you can't go wrong.
Mhm.
You can't go wrong with learning. So, yeah, that's really all I got. I'll throw Chief under the bus again with more details on stuff, but the events are great. Memorial Day, the Veterans Day, we'll be working on that, and our speakers and so forth. But everybody's doing a good job, in my opinion. I feel like we've put our plan in motion, to what our expectations are, and I think we're working, and we definitely are working in the right direction, but we're accomplishing what we set out to do.
Sure. I'll follow up
Yep.
on that. Okay. Under personnel as well, just to follow up with what the mayor said, training and education is extremely important. In fact, we had Mr. Saylor was in today, who was just appointed, and Tara and I spoke with him about the Certified Planning Commission course, and that's even great for council. And it's a really, really good course. VCU does it now. They do it now 3 times a year. It's a weekend. Well, actually, it's not. Now it's like a Thursday, Friday, typically in spring, and then you have another one. They'll give you materials and study guides, and then you'll come back in fall and for another 2 days, and then you'll be a certified planning commission member. But now they also offer a virtual opportunity for that as well. So you don't have to go to Richmond or Roanoke if you don't want to. You can do it virtually, exact same course. You know, so he expressed interest that he was going to go. I mean, the goal is to have everybody on the planning commission to be a certified planning commission member, which would be great. And then speaking of that too, with the planning commission and some of our boards, as we were going through a lot of this, and you know, when we're doing the budget and we're looking at different things, we don't necessarily compete with other localities. Directly, indirectly, we do, and you know, we all look at what everybody else is doing. If somebody's doing it better than we are, then you know, I'm not afraid to say, you know, how you doing that, and we'll jump on it. But one of the things that really caught my eye is what we pay our boards and commissioners and town council, which is absolutely nothing compared to other localities. Just to give you an example, and I know this is a somewhat of an awkward subject, but you know, we pay planning commission members $10 a meeting. I mean, that, you know, I know nobody in here that volunteers is doing it for the money, but I know that, and that's not the point, certainly. But they're also taking time away from, you know, their evenings, their families, and, you know, that, as far as we know, that hasn't been raised in decades. You don't pay the BZA, which only meets, you know, as needed, probably averages once a year, if that. We've had a couple this past year, but so anyway, that's something that we have looked at deeper than just on the surface. But just to give you an example too, I mean, most, like for planning commission, you know, 35 to 40 for a member, 50 for, you know, the chair, or 50 for the member, 75 for the chair, something like that. Town council, and again, this is where it may get awkward because it's you all, but I don't know when the last time you all, again, I'll reiterate, I know nobody's in here doing it for the money, but you all are so far behind in that. Just for the two towns that are in our league, which would be Broadway and Elkton. In Elkton, they pay the mayor $4,500 a year. Broadway's $3,600 a year. Elkton and council members $3,600, and in Broadway it's $3,000. Obviously, Mount Crawford is less. They're tiny. They're 300 people. You know, we're 3,400. So, again, something for you all to think about. It's one of those things you just don't want to get too far behind. And it's for, you know, I know we've struggled in the past to get BZA members, to get planning commission members. Is another $30 or $40 a meeting going to incentivize somebody to do that? Probably not. But it at least is, in my mind, it's a kind of thank you for volunteering, for serving. And again, the folks you have are great because they're getting paid $10. Obviously, they don't care about the money. So anyway, it's something that's your all's decision. It's just something that caught my eye, and knowing that that hasn't been done for any of our boards and commissions for quite some time, it's probably something to take a look at. And if the council doesn't have an appetite for it, certainly that's your all's decision. I'm just letting you know what we found, and I can tell you that we are at the very bottom of the barrel, just not in the valley, but all across the Commonwealth. So, double-edged sword, it's a good thing, but you know, maybe not. You just don't want to be too far behind. But obviously, nothing has to be decided tonight, but it's something for you all to think about, and you know, you can do it at any time. But again, just something to think about. And I just, since you were on personnel, I thought it was a good time to kind of jump in and following the conclusion of your report to talk about that. So I'm good.
You can.
I've been in town management. I took the planning commission course in 1988. It's a long time ago. They've probably completely revised the entire program by now. But it is an essential tool for you as a council member to have gone through that training. Not just the planning commission, but the council, because the planning commission is probably the most important team that we have in this town. It plans this town for the next 20 years. And you, as council members, need to understand what it is that they're doing and how they're doing it, and are they doing it right? so that when you're voting on what they do, you know that you've got the right thing there. And you can do it virtually now. I might even go and do it again virtually, but it's an essential tool for a council member as far as I'm concerned.
It's really good.
Thank you, sir. Anybody else on that particular topic? We're good? Okay, I'm gonna move on down. Okay. Right. Everybody. Yeah. Mhm.
You'll be surprised what you'll learn about planning commission that we don't do.
Thank you for getting that out to us too. Okay, so water sewer, Josh, I know y'all are gonna meet and stuff. Is there anything you wanted to talk about tonight?
He's played down a lot of things, it's really great, but we need to look at those 2-inch galvanized lines. We have to get and we'll do that prior to him looking at the budget. I don't have anything else about it.
Okay, thank you, sir. All right, and Parks and Recreation, Eddie?
I brought it up at our committee meeting 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, however long it's been. And I was glad to see that we're willing to spend some money on amenities for the parks, equipment, playground stuff for the kids. One of the things we continue to overlook is electrical in the cabins. That's not a cheap thing, but in order to plan for it, I was suggesting we take the money that we're spending and match it and contribute to a, fund that you can get some pricing to fix up the stuff that needs to be fixed down there, because that mathematically makes a lot of revenue for the town. And without it, you put a lot of stress on taxpayers, and then you're making more businesses to come, and you're gonna tax them to death, and it's hard to do. So it's been a very productive, part of this town. And I know it's, like I said, it's not gonna be something we can outright pay for, but we can start planning on paying for. Things like, right now, I feel like right now is a great opportunity to speak about this. What do the kids got to do right now? They have a damn thing to do. I feel for them. You couldn't go on a basketball court if you wanted to. You couldn't go outside and play at a soccer field if you wanted to. There's stuff. I mean, we don't have anything as a community for these kids to do for the past month. And it is a shame. And I don't know, that's not nothing we're gonna fix this budgetary year, but again, it's a planning thing that I thought about that I think needs addressed. You've got some ideas? Okay. The Little League especially it's just a dime thing. Volunteers are hard to find. It's great for the kids, it's just hard to continue to maintain. I think we struggle a lot down there with getting people to help. I'm sure you elaborated on it with the special events. I mean, people like to come to them, but nobody really likes to show them help do behind the scenes work. And we've gotten a lot of travel ball interest for tournaments down there. The revenue, I think that the little concession stand guy brought in was, it was at least in the green. giving the kids stuff to do in the summertime, but I'd like to find a year-round way to keep them involved in something. And not in front of a video game. So, however we go about that, whether it's matching funds towards, we were paying for a fence, half a fence, and matching the funds from the 401K, take the same kind of money this budget cycle and apply it to, a fund for the Grand Caverns lots. That's the first project we want to get off, and I think it's the most important thing. But again, it's your department, I'm not overstepping you, I'm trying to elaborate on what you and I've talked about and seen as emphasis to what we as council have to do to help.
I have a question about the lights. So we talked about the transformers, 1920. Have we reached out to power company Dominion or anyone about, would they assist with any of that?
That's a good question. I've been meeting with Kyle about this, and we're pretty excited to strongly consider it in this next budget. The primary issue with the electric rebate, and I know you guys know this, but just as a refresher, the primary challenge with the electric is, it's not just that it's old, it's that they were using old technology, so to turn on the light bulb at the back of the cave, they had to throw 2,400 volts through the cave to get it to the back. And they had to use big transformers to carry the load every however many feet. So it's the fact that there was 1920s wire that was being used. It's just not as efficient as what we have today. So it occurred to me several months ago that we might just be closer than I realized on having some progress with the electric in the cave. We want to de-escalate the voltage. That's, I think, the achievable we can do. And over the last 7 years, portions of the old high voltage wire have been replaced with modern high voltage wire. So I reached out to Leon's Electric, who've been doing a lot of that work, and I said, how much is left? Because we gotta be close. And he said, yeah, there's only one section left. So what Kyle and I are working together on is to see if we can't budget in what it would take to fill in that last gap, and then run, it's gonna be about 40,000 feet of wire, then run it ground, because it's an ungrounded system. And we can run one from the back to the front, then we can take everything off of the transformers, and then we have 110 volts. And because it's modern wires, it means that we don't even need a little pump and run transformer just to carry it to the end. So, we're pretty excited. We talked a lot with Davey over at Leon's Electric, and everyone's feeling pretty confident that it'll work. So if we get that done, then there's a second and third phase. But those phases get so much easier once you're not dealing with commercial voltage. If you need to go in and change the light fixture, it's no different than the electric you have in the house, and it's safer, easier, and yeah, we can really start playing with
So
it.
we're looking at, cost-wise, we're looking at something that's legitimate, like we can handle.
Kyle, speak to that meeting, yeah.
Right, we are, and you all see all those numbers. I think we were talking to get that first phase. So, yeah. So, which, in our staff discussions, we feel pretty confident that we can make that work, and we plan to recommend that in the upcoming budget to get that first phase in. And then obviously it'll be up to you all to do so, but, yeah, there's a lot, that is really a major thing that has to get done, and a lot of stuff will, tie into that and dovetail off of that, so, and for $70,000, I mean, it's a lot of money, but in the whole scheme of things, it's really not. We're getting done.
Yeah, we're talking like $1 million originally, so like 70K seems like.
That's replacing the whole system. Yeah. That's replacing the whole system.
That's sweet, yeah, it's been good. Austin's done a really nice job, this year's budget. Everybody else has, but particularly, Austin's fresh, it's on my mind, because we just had this, our step, with parks this spring.
not like house electrical, you know what I mean, Anish tool. Yeah, I know, it's like, put on your hard hat, come, cause I assume that if you're on 110, it's, you know, just replace like, which is LED lights. Yeah, yeah, I mean, it's like, yeah, right,
Plus you could go in LED.
yeah, you can go LED and then you've got a lot less lights to deal with.
Can we go back to something Eddie said earlier?
Yes.
He was talking about year-round facilities for the kids, especially in town. We bought that field, the catty corner across the street, what, almost 2 decades ago now, David? And we were all ready to put in a center over there. And we got stopped by a $1.3 million drop on us because of the sewer plant out here. I think we need to make a priority in this year's budget to do a feasibility study for putting a center over there. I mean, you can put a general steel building over there for less than $100,000. It's what, 100 by 200 feet? I know, granted, that's just a steel building, but, I mean, we're making fairly decent interest money off our money. I would like to see us come up with some kind of plan to design a center across the street for things. We could have a basketball court in there, we could have one of these 24/7 gymnasiums in there, we could have an indoor track in there maybe even. But I think we need to do something where elderly people can go and the children can go and go year-round. You know, it's really nice. I'd like to go out and walk, but when we had this snow, I couldn't, I wasn't gonna drive all the way into Harrisonburg to walk around the mall. You know, I need something here. And that was one of the things that we were looking at, well, almost 20 years ago now. I just think we need to make it a priority in this year's budget to find out what it would cost to do that. No, this, right across the street, this, that big open field right across the street is ours. Yep.
It's not really that much money. So if you go raise taxes, you're making up, you know, hey, raise taxes to fund this. When you fund a whole building, you know, maintenance.
Yep.
What's the use of the courthouse, and they have $1.2 million maintenance fees that they've been funding for years. You have to look at that. It's going to be really cost. It's not just that.
You're gonna have staffing too. I mean, you're gonna have that type of thing, but.
We're not there yet. I think we're getting there, obviously. We've done a lot of things as this council. I think everybody here in San Luis State, people who staff should be really proud that we've got to a place where we're getting there. But, I think it's something we can plan for, but I don't think it should be done. That's just my opinion.
I'm not saying actually do it, I'm saying put the plan together so we can see it. This is what it's gonna cost, this is what we want, this is what it's gonna cost. And then at least, yeah, oh yeah,
Well, I mean, yeah, town of Upton has it,
But they've also got county.
and they
The
do.
county, they funded $500,000 for several of these, community centers. Should we reach out to the county? Is that something we go to the county, say, hey, you know, Bible stuff, and that we're gonna rock this, you know, type thing? We had talked about it.
Yeah, they have.
They have.
Can we get some of our assessed value from the county? I mean, they get
We're also-
68 cents.
We're also getting ready
Could
to
we
do
get
some
20
more
cents
revenue
back?
Once we have, built, there's gonna be things that we can
Right.
realize later, but we don't realize that yet. So we're gonna do a realize versus factual, right?
right.
We'll say, hey, we can.
If we have a plan, we can take to the county, it makes it a whole lot, you know, here's the plan, here's what it's gonna look like, here's what it's gonna cost.
And maybe we
Yeah.
We talked to, Matt Dale, I guess, is this, maybe we can talk to him and say, hey, is there something where we can get for the county? I know the counties, you know, they go through, they have their own things.
Yeah.
And everybody's paying more for everything. We are, they are, you know. That's just my understanding.
No,
Anyways, maybe then the planning or funding wise, if it's $70,000 of budgetable expense, maybe the planning needs to look at the community center and how we do a budget.
I think the Andrews thing, that should be, I mean, that's a CIP, we should be able to do that.
Yeah.
You know,
that's a
I
moneymaker.
think everybody's gonna be in agreement with that, right?
Right.
Like, that should be hammered out of this budget.
Yeah.
It shouldn't have to come out against the parks, the parks' normal revenue or the parks' normal allocation for funds to do what they need to do either. We can fund that.
And that can be part of the CIP too.
Budgetary cuts.
So can the rec center.
It is a safety issue too, I mean, like, we're kind of humping around a little bit, but. No, it's not, second, like, it's little. I feel more comfortable with it.
That's about enough. I mean, that's about all I got.
Okay, sir. And then streets and streetlights committee,
Oh, one more thing.
oh, go ahead. Okay, we're good.
That parking lot down there. Yeah, my fault, sure. That parking lot down there that we budgeted money for years ago, and it's, I mean, we couldn't even get on it to get to the press box the other week, because we can't plow it out. Maybe that's something that we're not paving this year. That's an opportunity to pave it.
Yeah,
I gotta get some light, there's gonna be some lights down there.
Kyle's got some.
I have some light poles that my company's willing to donate, just to be able to put in for these kids, that somebody gonna get run over too. Using it for special events, parking for the, Night of the Granza, stuff down there. It can be used for multiple things, but, yeah.
We've got some news, right? A little bit,
Never mind.
A little.
a
We
little,
don't-
little
so,
official news.
Eddie, regarding the parking, and then Austin and I talked about, we submitted a grant to Rockingham County.
Right.
Right back in the fall, it was supposed to be awarded, we spoke with Van Dale a couple times. It appears likely that we're gonna get the funding to pay the parking lot. Now, I hate to say, I mean, that's the conversation we had, we made it clear that was, we asked for everything, and they came back and said, well, you can have everything.
We tried.
So, their application was vague, we didn't know how much we were applying for, we quantified what we were applying for, but, it sounds like that's a very good possibility. We should, one way or another, we'll know within the next 2 weeks, next week maybe. And then, so that would be sweet, and, that we would have to plan. I don't necessarily couldn't have it ready for opening day, but we could have it some for sure. So, anyway, I'll let you, as soon as I know something about that, keep your fingers crossed, we'll let you know.
Yeah, I've got, yes, I've got 20-foot or 2 islands in the center, 3 islands in the center somewhere.
Can we put a street name,
Right, so I've got those lights, if we pour piers and you.
can we put a street name on the parking lot and then put it in the street budget?
I think there's 6 pictures. I tell you, there's 6 pictures.
State specification.
You can go down there and lay out how everybody thinks best to get, enough light on it to when everybody
It's a
gets.
dead-end street.
And then somebody just parked down there.
Yeah.
One travel alternative, they had 4 people parked.
Bring it up to state specification.
The 4th guy that parked behind it, like, why? You see 3 people are already trapped in there, but you still decided, let me make it 4,
Little League Drive.
Right, they're not leaving that game till their game's over, some good stuff. But no, they can't park shit down there.
under me. The worst that can happen is they throw me off council.
Jim.
Go on now.
So I could have telling him, I'll bring the poles one day and just drop them off down here in his yard. They're brand new. They was for, 251 convenience store, the truck stop we did. We they came for it, and that's why they didn't shake that in, but they ordered 24 poles, and they only needed 18 or something. So he has nothing to do with them, to donate them for the Little League or town usage for lighting their parking lot.
It's a great connection, literally.
And then now that's all I got.
Okay, all right, we're good. All right, Captain. All right, Councilman Justice?
I've got two things. One's under my committee and one's under Joss's committee. Back when we priced the upgrade on the lights, it was a little over $36,000 to upgrade the lights, and we spent about 10 plus to do what we did. I found out from Kyle that the street money can pay for the street lights. And I've talked to David and Josh both informally, and I just want to bring it up at the next meeting that we go ahead and fund the rest of the lights and get them done. It's, you know, we're talking $26,000 out of an $800,000 budget that we have for streets right now. So that's one thing. Yeah. Yeah. The other thing I have is, and this is something I have thought about for 15 or more years. I've brought it up a couple of times to council members. We are water poor in this town. We have 3 wells. The third well, which we've been talking about, when we tested that well, it'll pump 750 to 1,500 gallons an hour. We need to get a water bottling company to come in here and set up a water bottling plant, and we work with them. Either we provide the water as our partnership and we take a percentage of the profit or whatever. But there's money to be made off of our water, and we just got best in the state on the water. They could bottle our water without even having to do anything to it. And it would be better than most of the bottled water that's out there on the street. That's something I'm pursuing with Kyle, but I really think we need to try to bring a water bottling company into town. Oh, it can very easily be. Yeah, we've annexed already. We have annexed everything from this town to the Shenandoah Mountain. And from this town, as far as our 2441 zip code goes towards, no, what's the next town over here? They fought the battle over it. Port Republic, yeah. So we have already annexed and been approved for, we can annex anything in that window. We did that. I got that done back in 1998. So all we've got to do, and we don't even have to put the, that was one of the times that,
Yeah, so it's pretty simple. I mean, if you have that agreement with the county, it's, like Tara said, I mean, it's a simple one. You don't have to go back through. I mean, the public hearings are.
no, we had the judge sit right up there. That's the pack that most people I've ever seen in this room was that annexation. There were 300 or
I
so.
just wanna make sure it's not as much food, because we're not gonna.
Oh, no, no. If, I,
We're charging pennies on the dollar for water, and we're not getting the taxation.
if worse came to worse, Josh, we could put it in town and run a line from the well.
Well, we wanna do that eventually.
Yeah.
Right? We wanna run that, we wanna bring it on, that's several hundred thousand. I think it's some.
But that's really something I think we need to pursue. We're into an aquifer, we're in the same aquifer that Coors is in. And if Coors thought it was gonna go dry when they pumped it, they would never they wouldn't have put the plant there. Yeah, so, I mean, we've got good water, we've got plenty of water, and that's a business I think we can get income off of. Well, I tried to get council to listen to me. Remember when the old silk plant was sitting over here? I wanted to convert the silk plant into a bottle watering, a water bottling company.
Maybe we could start a cooperative.
Well,
The profit margin on bottled water is like 30 to 60%. I mean, it's a lucrative industry, but, I mean, you know, Jim and I talked about, obviously, there's many challenges for that to happen. But there's, and we researched it, not tremendously deep enough to where, I mean, you'd have to have distribution, you'd have to have, you know, I mean, you'd have to have a full-blown plant, and you have to work out how, if it's a public-private partnership, which obviously the Commonwealth allows, and there's tax breaks for the private partnership that they can, if it's truly a collaborative with the local government. But, there, you know, we have to have the land for, I mean, it would be an industrial facility, so you can have trucks in and out, and all that. So it's a lot to talk about, but, I agree with Jim 100%. I mean, the town's got water. Yeah, I mean,
And
we're
it's
in
a
negative position, but it's to hugely to get it to here.
it's a fairly clean industry, though.
It is.
It wouldn't be a whole lot of, it would just be a building.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, see, that's the thing. I mean, we got the best water in the state. We don't have to treat our water. I need you to find out where we ranked in the national. We need to know that.
I don't, from what I'm hearing, I don't think they did it. I think they just awarded the best. That's what I'm hearing. We'll definitely find that out for sure, but, yeah. We would have to treat it if you bought it.
Yeah, I'm sure that the government would make make them treat it, but it would probably be the least amount of treatment you'd ever have to do.
There's no organic matter, for the most part, in groundwater, so that you wouldn't have to filter it, you would just have to treat it.
I did give you that pamphlet, that flyer from, years and years ago, of the mineral water that was being sold.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, I've got to get that to you guys. So a citizen of the town brought me some information about water.
Yeah.
They were hauling water and selling water, and it was gonna keep us young and vivacious and all these wonderful things. So, yeah, there's a pamphlet that I have. Oh, goodness. So, yeah, I'll get that to you guys too.
That's all I've got.
Okay,
Well,
thank
to add to what he's saying, there's a company in Verona, Flow Water. They built their facility, 6, 8 years ago. They haul water from Mount Sydney. They purchase a spring house over there and they pump. Well, they trailer haul it back to the plant to buy. There's a lot of upset people on that road because it's a one-lane gravel road. And I don't know how much transportation they could do with the water, but for the time being, if you got the third well online, it's an opportunity to sell water that we ain't doing nothing with either. That they might like that water because it's less treatable than the stuff coming out of Mount Cindy. But Flow's a national company. They built that bottling facility just because they purchased a well house. Mount Cindy, so opportunities are there. I do think there's money you can make for the town. The stuff right around us.
Good deal. So, I guess, guys, is there any other discussion or like future goals you guys want to talk about? Is there anything you want to add, Kyle, or with everything that we discussed here tonight?
I don't think so.
I got one quick thing, and I apologize, I haven't looked at the ordinances lately. Do we have in our requirement for subdivisions a green ordinance? That they have to set so much amount of land aside as green property?
Depends on the zoning district. We do.
Because
I don't know the
that's
specifics.
one thing, if this town grows at all, we need to make sure we've got green areas in it. Yeah, we need to annex Hornsberger's farm. Mhm. That's the planning commission's job.
Well, and it's our job too, as we're looking at it, and that
Right.
information is coming to us, and this is what I'm talking about, I know, just to piggyback on what you're saying, we've had these discussions, it's like, moving forward, when we're looking at our ordinance and our codes, like, what are we able to enforce? And we've gotta get there, because we just don't want it being thrown up.
Bring this up, we talk about it, we control it.
Right.
But see, this is one of the things we could assign to the planning commission is to develop that plan for subdivisions.
A lot of that's changed recently in the General Assembly last year with subdivisions. So a lot of it now is administrative unless it's not in a zoning.
Right.
Zoning, something like that. So, but we ourselves as the town, the other year come up with some guidelines and basically went off of Berkeley County's checklist as well to make sure when we get a new subdivision that we are going through that. Plus we were on the HELOC system constantly with them for the fire rescue would be about it, those places.
I think in recent years, it's really, it's changed.
Yeah,
I get
yeah,
that. A lot of
Shady
people-
Creek was an older
But that was something,
subdivision,
I think
actually.
people saw the money, the money.
Seeing it come in,
And
yeah.
just kind of let things go.
That actually started before the market crashed, and that's why there's sidewalks that go in so far. But when it was bought out, when the plan was submitted, it looked very similar to the other plan, and then I guess when staff and planning commission and council all looked at the new revised plan, they had let the sidewalks out, and it got approved that way. That's why they ended where they didn't, should have never happened. So,
You still, right?
yeah, I
Yeah.
know exactly, yeah.
All right, anyone else? Anything else? All right, so we do have one other topic that we're gonna cover, but it'll be in closed session. So I say we take a break, use the restroom, get a drink, do something, and then we'll go into closed session. And who wants to read that?
Do we have everybody? All right, I make a motion to adjourn the turn to open session.
We have a motion and a second. Properly second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, signify by raising your right hand. this time, I will read the clarification statements and call roll to the best, let me put my glasses, to the best of our knowledge, only public business matters lawfully exempted from open meeting requirements were discussed. And only such public business matters that were identified in the motion by which a closed meeting called were heard, discussed, or considered by the town council. Councilman Chittum?
So certified.
Councilman Bailey?
So certified.
Councilman Cole?
So certified.
Councilman Taylor?
So certify.
Mayor Plaster, so certified. Councilman Justice?
So certified.
And Councilman Reigns?
So certified.
Thank you very much. And at this time, I will adjourn our retreat for 2026. Thank you, guys.